Welcome back to Rattlesnake Vibes. Now I've just had some food, I've poured myself a nice glass of Kraken and I'm back for round two with the little ROTEL RA310. So I've picked out a few CDs with some nice female vocals on them. So let's see how the ROTEL gets on with this lot, because I'd done it earlier with some heavy music running through it, and this little ROTEL done really well. So I'll power it up, I'll put it on speakers 1, give it a little bit of volume, and I'm going to do first Dusty Springfield, Son of a Preacher Man, track 18. Now this is a good track for testing out your amplifier, because Dusty's voice should be crystal clear, and so should all the instruments in the background. Everything should be crystal clear. Through a good amplifier, this song is lovely and really detailed. And if your amplifier's not that good, this song will show it up, because it's got a really good top end going on this song. So let's skip through the tracks, get to track 18 and see how the little ROTEL deals with this one. It is sort of an easy one, this one, to start with, because there is not a lot going on this song. But it is a good one. Once you get to know this song and know how clear it can sound, it is a good one to use as a test track, this song, and it is a really good one for testing speakers. If the top end of your speakers are not up to much, this track will show that up. So, as I thought, the little ROTEL is taking this track in its stride. It is no problem for the ROTEL, this one. I didn't think it would be. I thought this ROTEL would sound nice on this track, and it does sound nice. It is doing Dusty justice. Now these little speakers I've got it running through, although they're only small, they have got a nice top end on them, these speakers. They are a nice set of Bowers and Wilkins speakers. Although they are small, they are like monitor speakers, so they are very detailed. They're not loud, they're no good for a party, but for doing something like this and testing an amplifier, then they are a really great speaker. Because I know if anything sounds bad, then it is the amplifier and not the speakers, because these speakers sound good. And this little ROTEL sounds good, really. I am impressed with this ROTEL. It's only small, it's only 15 watts per channel, but it's got a really good detailed sound stage to it. That is what I am impressed by with this little ROTEL. Like with this song now, it's taking it in its stride. Dusty is no problem for the ROTEL. So let's up the game a little bit with Norah Jones, and I'm going for track 5, Come Away With Me, because there is a lot more going on in this song, and Nora's voice in this song is really crystal clear, and she holds some really lovely notes in this song. So if you've got a weak top end, this song will show it up. And the other way round, if you've got a good top end on your system, this song will sound lovely. So even if this song really isn't to your taste, it's worth listening to, because if you have got a good system, Nora's voice will sound fantastic. And like with me, this isn't really the sort of music I would listen to. But because I'm a bit of a hi-fi nut, I look at music different. I appreciate music for what it is. So a song like this, although it's not my cup of tea really, I like it because of how good it can make your system sound. I've got a lot of songs like that. They really aren't the sort of music I would listen to, but I do listen to them and I do like them because of how great they can make your stereo sound. So I hope that sort of makes sense, because you might find that yourself. If you're becoming a little bit of an audiophile, you might find yourself listening to music that you would never dream of listening to, but you will listen to it because of how good it sounds. And you'll find yourself that you're not actually kind of listening to the song, you are listening to the bigger picture of how great it sounds. Like with this song playing now, I'm not really listening to the song, I am listening to Nora. I am listening to the detail in her voice. It is really enjoyable. The Rotel is doing a great job with her voice. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not really listening to the song, I am listening to the sound. And it is a great sound. I'm going to give this one to the Rotel. Nora's voice through this Rotel really is a pleasure to listen to. And I'm not hearing anything that sounds a bit strange. I'm not hearing anything that doesn't sound correct. This Rotel really is doing a good job with this song. And I'm sort of saying that because a lot of these vintage amplifiers, they up things. They like up the mid-range, or they up the vocals, or they like up the bass, or they do something strange to the music. But this Rotel, it seems like it's doing everything correct. So I don't think there's no enhancements going on with this one. So the Rotel again has took this one in its stride. It has dealt with Nora's high notes, no problem, the little Rotel. So next we're going to up the game even more, because I'm going to play 2 tracks off the next CD. I'm going to play track 2, Wade in the Water, and track 9, Oh, Had I a Golden Thread. Now these are both by Eva Cassidy, and both of these have got a really lot going on. Both these tracks can easily trip up an amplifier because there is so much going on, and Eva's voice is incredible in both of these tracks. And these are 2 tracks. If you want to find out how good your speakers are, what your top end's like on your speakers, then play these 2 tracks. Because if you've got a good top end, they will make your system sing. But if you've got a bad top end, they won't, and they'll show it out to be bad. Because there is a lot going on in these songs, and Eva's voice really is special in them. So here we go, Eva Cassidy in full swing through the little Rotel. And I can already hear, with the intro and that, the Rotel is just taking this in its stride. There is no catching out this little Rotel. It really is a top class little amplifier, this Rotel. Well, from what I've listened to so far, and bear in mind I've only had a CD player going through this Rotel, so I've only been listening to it with a good CD player going into it, and with it on a nice set of speakers. And yeah, in that setup, this Rotel sounds really good. But I haven't tested out its phono inputs. I will do. I need to get a deck and plug it into the back of this Rotel, and then try some vinyl through it and see how it gets on being used with vinyl. I do think it will have a good phono stage on it, because it's made by Rotel. It's from the early 70s, and most of the good amplifiers from that kind of period was geared up to be good with a record deck plugged in them, because that's what people played back then. Everybody played vinyl. But you never can tell. Sometimes amplifiers sound really nice with a CD player on them. Then you put a deck on them and start playing some albums, they don't sound that good. So we'll have to check this little ROTEL out and see what it's like with vinyl on it. And I do need to get a few different CD players to run through these amplifiers, because that Arcam really is a good CD player. So you might find out that he's doing a lot of the work here, because it is that good, that Arcam. It really is a good CD player. That is why I've always kept it. I've had other CD players, but you play them up against that Arcam, the Arcam wins. So the other ones have gone, and I've always kept that Arcam. I really like it. But now I'm doing the channel, I'm going to have to get a little collection of CD players together. So we've got a few to test out on these amplifiers. So let's get back to Eva on the little ROTEL. And I would say this, what I am noticing tonight, with this sort of music, the ROTEL is really nice and smooth and easy to listen to. It is very refined. It is like a grown-up little amplifier. It is not shouting at me whatsoever, which is a good thing, because I'm just sitting here tonight. I've got a glass of Kraken. I do not want Eva shouting at me. And a lot of amplifiers will do that. They will take this song and make it a little bit shouty. But not this ROTEL. This ROTEL done a lovely job on that song. So let's skip it forward. Track 9. Oh, if I had a golden thread. Now I went for this one because there is moments in this track where Eva's voice suddenly just explodes. It's fantastic, it is. The way her voice suddenly goes from low and then just explodes into life. There is another song on this Songbirds album called Wayfaring Stranger. I nearly went for that one. In fact, there's a few good ones for testing out your hi-fi on this Songbirds album. It really is a good test CD. But I went for this one just for the fact of when that explosive bit comes in, a lot of amplifiers just cannot deal with it. They cannot handle either at full pelt. They will sound really harsh. They just cannot handle the way that Eva's voice goes from low and then really explodes. So this track is a really good test track. And I would say this, if you were watching at home and you're thinking, right, I'm going to put them tracks through my system, see how it gets on, don't feel that you have to like them. If you don't like them, there is nothing wrong with that. I think it takes years to kind of get your body into this listening mode. Because like years ago, I would not have been able to listen to these tracks. I could have listened to Dusty Springfield, I like that track. But these Eva ones, I think they would have been a bit much for me. I wouldn't have been able to listen to them. But it took me years of listening and appreciating, like, the dynamics of the music. And, like, now I can just listen to stuff like this because of how good it is. So I do think you got to train yourself a little bit to get into that, like, critical listening mode. I don't think it's something you can just sit down and do. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe some of you will be able to sit down with music that you don't really like and just enjoy it and appreciate it for what it is and how good it sounds. Because I don't think I could have done that years ago. I think I needed time to sort of learn how to do this listening. Over the years, what I listen to has changed so much. I still listen to the stuff that I like, music I've always listened to, but when I'm doing this testing and listening, I kind of listen to different stuff now. So just do that. Try these tracks at home and just see how you get on. And Eva just exploded into action then. And this little ROTEL, it dealt with it. I'm going to give it to this ROTEL. This is a very nice little amplifier. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.